Ladies and mostly gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Warfronts. Yes, Warfronts, one of the major features of the latest expansion, Battle for Azeroth. So if you don't know what these are basically just 20-player PvE battles attacking a stronghold, and the first one that we've actually got in the game is Arathi Highlands, and that zone actually had a major update to go along with that Warfront. And if you haven't checked out the zone updates, I do actually have a video on it, so if you want to check that out, there's a little icon in the top right of your screen or in the description below this video. So today we're going to be talking about the future of Warfronts and what future Warfronts will be happening. So at BlizzCon they did say that there will be more Warfronts in different zones, and looking at the game files, there is a map file called Warfront BARRENS. So, I mean, that's pretty obvious that we're actually going to get a Warfront in the Barrens. Another clue, which is actually kind of funny, is that if you're in the Southern Barrens at the moment and you put your in-game music on, you actually get the music for Warfronts in certain areas of the Southern Barrens. So there is actually a viewable map in the game files. It's not just a blank map like some of the maps like Nazjata or the Plunder Isles, but that's another video for another time. And it's this. So this is a ripped out area of the Southern Barrens, a bit of Duskwallow Marsh, and a bit of Mulgore. And as you can see, Mulgore is flooded, but we'll get back to that in a moment. So using my map viewer, we can actually dive inside of this map and see what's changed. So as of right now, there isn't any major changes to the map. So as I said, Mulgore is indeed flooded, but this is probably a bug. And I don't think it's going to be flooded in the real game, and I don't think it's going to be flooded during the Warfront. I think it is just a bug with the water levels. I wouldn't take that too seriously. Another change is the fact that Fort Triumph for the Alliance has actually been completely emptied. And honestly, it looks like a perfect fit for the Alliance to have their Warfront base in, as it's pretty much got enough area to spawn all the various Warfront buildings inside. And this area can be easily expanded as well, as it's surrounded by mountains which can easily be flattened and used to expand this base. So my best guess is that the map we're looking at in the game files right now is the map for the Alliance attacking the Horde. If you didn't know, the Arathi Warfront map has 2 map IDs for each faction, as the buildings for the defending faction are already spawned when you're attacking. So for example, if you're the Horde attacking Stromgarde, the Stromgarde buildings will already be there once you join the Warfront, as it's only NPCs and not players that are using those buildings. So taking this all into account, I honestly think that the main fighting area of this Warfront will take place on the Battle Scar. Now the Battle Scar is an area outside Fort Triumph for the Alliance and outside Desolation Hold for the Horde, which would also mean Desolation Hold will more than likely be the Horde Warfront base. This base would probably need an expansion as well, but there is mountains behind it and a large area to the side which is perfectly laid out for expanding this particular base. I actually have a feeling that once this comes to fruition, the Southern Barrens will actually have very minor changes when it's converted into a Warfront. Maybe a few new buildings and some updated graphical additions to the map, alongside some changes to make it better as a Warfront, but I really don't think the map is going to have an entire overhaul as heavy as the Arathi map. So I think the reason the Arathi map got such a massive update is due to the fact that it was pretty much untouched by the Cataclysm, so it was overdue one really. While the Southern Barrens was probably one of the hardest hit zones by the events of the Cataclysm, but I could be wrong and the zone could indeed get a full overhaul. So a Warfront battle uses resources to progress the battle. These are iron and wood. Now iron isn't a problem for this map. The Horde could use the base behind Desolation Hold called Fazilkraz Motherlode, which is a goblin mining operation, and the Alliance could just convert Baal Mordan Excavation into a mine, as that's directly opposite the Horde mine. The problem arises when it comes to wood, as if you couldn't tell, there isn't many trees around the Barrens. I mean, there is a few, but nothing on the level of Arathi Highlands. I think one of the possible ways of combating this would be using Mulgore and Duskwallow Marsh to their advantage. As you can see, they have ripped sections of each of these maps onto the Warfront map, so potentially they could be used as areas for players to collect wood for their Warfront, alongside the very few trees around the Southern Barrens that they could easily cut down as well. Another issue with this map's current layout is the fact there aren't many areas for players to take over on their way to assaulting the opposite faction's base. In the Arathi Warfront, there are 5 bases which need to be attacked before you can even think about taking the main base, and the Southern Barrens doesn't really have many zones that would fit that bill. I mean, they could use the ruins of Taharo or the forward command to the north of the battlefield, but the layout really isn't as perfect as the Arathi Warfront, as that could be attacked equally from each side, and taking each base is one step closer to storming the gates of the opposing faction's base. Now I know that this is all very, very early, and the Barrens Warfront probably won't be a reality until at least 8.1 at the earliest. so major changes could still happen to the Southern Barrens to make it more accommodated for a Warfront. They could even make the Horde take one of the Alliance bases to the north of the zone to make it more of a linear battle with a direct route to the faction's rival base. Or even potentially the Alliance could take advantage of the Northwatch hold to the north, and the Horde could use the Desolation hold to the south, but I don't know, anything is possible, and I for one am very excited for more Warfronts and potentially updated maps, because the updates to Arathi are just fantastic. So that's pretty much it, guys. Do you think I made any sense in this speculation, or do you think I'm crazy? Let me know down below, and let me know what your take is on all of this, and whether you think the Southern Barrens would work as a Warfront. I'd love to know what you guys think. So before I go, I'd like to give a massive shout out to my patrons, YouTube sponsors, and Twitch subs. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to support the channel in that way, links are down below. So leave a like on this video, guys, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. I also have a partner Discord channel with over 3,000 members and a merch store over on Streamlabs. Links to those are down below. And I also stream on Twitch, so if you want to check out my Twitch channel, link to that is also down below. It is twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, I'll see you next time.